Okay, now let's go ahead and read some science. First, I'm going to do the English science. Energy from food. Energy from food. That title right there, that's called a subtitle. Now, when we were earlier talking about in reading, we were talking about informational text. This is something that can help us. Subtitles, these are subheadings. Subheadings, that means in this paragraph, what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about energy from food. And then over here, you know how they have a picture? They have a picture of a real bird. And then it says, this bird eats fruits and insects. That means this is a subtitle. This is a footnote. A footnote helps you, gives you a little information about the picture. A footnote gives you information about the picture. So whenever you see words underneath a picture, that's a footnote. That means it's giving us a little more explanation about that picture. But when you see words, headings in front of paragraphs, that means this is a subheading. A subheading. So energy from food. All plants and animals need food. Most plants make food using sunlight, water, and air. Plants store this food in their leaves, stems, and other parts. Plants use the energy in the food to live and grow. So they've given us some information. Who needs food? All plants and animals need food. Okay? How do plants make their food? They use sunlight, water, and air. Okay? And then plants store this food. Store means they keep it. They save it. Plants save this food. Plants keep this food in their leaves, stems, and other parts. Okay? So let's go on. It says, sunflowers need sunlight to grow. Why are they telling us that? Because this is a picture of a lot of sunflowers. Okay? Then it says, animals cannot make food. They don't go into a tree and have a kitchen, right? So it says, they must eat plants or other animals. Some animals eat only plants. Some animals eat only other animals. They like meat. Some animals eat both plants and animals. Animals get energy from the food they eat. Okay? And we're not going to do this right now. This is another footnote about this picture. This rabbit uses energy from the plants it eats to live and grow. Let's go to the next page. It says It says food chains. A food chain shows how energy passes from one living thing to another. The energy in a food chain comes mostly from the sun. In other words, the sun begins the food chain. The sun begins it. Why, Miss Martin? Because the sun is what grows plants. Okay? The sun is what helps the plants. Grasses use water, air, and energy from where? Sunlight. To do what? To make food. So this makes sense. A food chain shows how energy passes from one living thing to another. The energy in a food chain comes mostly from the sun. Plants use the sun's energy to make food. Some animals get energy by eating the plants. Other animals eat those animals. Look at the food chain. Energy passes from sunlight to the hawk through this food chain. Okay, so we're looking at a food chain here, and here is the hawk. Now, how does the energy pass from sunlight to the hawk? Well, here the sunlight grows the grass. And this little mouse called a vole, it eats the grass for energy. But see this snake right here? Snakes eat voles. Voles are prey for snakes. If something can eat you, you're a prey. Okay? If something can eat you, something bigger, you're a prey. So the voles eat the grass, the snakes eat the voles, and then the hawks eat the snakes. Hawks eat snakes. Snakes are prey for hawks. So snakes are prey also because a hawk can eat it. It says, this is the other subtitle, predator and prey. Now here the subtitle was food chains. So all this paragraph is talking about food chains. Predator and prey, what is this going to talk about? The whole paragraph is going to talk about predator and prey. What is a predator? What is a prey? All food chains have predators and prey. A predator is an animal that catches and eats another animal. You know what I would do? I would underline that. A predator is an animal that catches and eats what? Other animals. All right? Then it says prey is an animal that is caught and eaten. That means something catches it and eats it. That's what a prey is. All right? Then it says, look at the animals in the food chain. The snake and the hawk are predators. The snake and the hawk are predators. Why? Because the hawk can eat the snake and the snake eats the vole. All right? Let's go to the next page. The subtitle here is Garden and Park Food Chains. Garden and park food chains. There's a garden chain and there's a park chain. And this is going to tell us about it. You can see flowers in a garden or a park. Plants with flowers use the sun's energy to make food. Bees feed on flowers such as roses. Some birds eat the bees. All right? So then it says here, draw the missing part of this food chain. Well, here's the food chain. And here is the missing part. What should go there? So that means the sun grows the plants, the flowers, and the flowers get eaten or are eaten by what? What goes on the flowers? And then birds eat something. What is it that the birds can sometimes eat? And these things sometimes they get their energy from the flowers. Then we go to beach food chain. This is the subtitle. That means this paragraph is going to tell us about what happens in the beach. Who eats what? Some plants and animals live near the beach. Tiny water plants use the sun's energy to make food. Tiny animals in the water eat these plants. Sand crabs live along some beaches. They feed on these plants and animals. Fish and birds eat the crabs. So here's the chain at the beach. The sun helps give energy to these small, tiny animals in the water. And then here we have seagulls that eat those tiny animals. And then, I'm sorry, that's not a seagull, that's a crab. The sun helps make these tiny animals in the water. And the crab eats the tiny animals. And then what eats the crabs? The seagulls. Okay? Now let's look at lake food chains. Notice that there's all different kinds of chains, food chains. We have garden park chains, we have beach food chains, and now we're going to talk about lake food chains. Okay? It says, look at this lake food chain. Water plants make food using the sun's energy. A turtle eats the plants. A raccoon eats the turtle. Changes in the environment can affect food chains. That means if something changes where these animals live, then the food changes. Suppose many plants die. The turtles would have less to eat. Some might even die. There would be fewer turtles for raccoons to eat. So if there's something in the chain that's missing, some animals might not live. So here we have the sun. It makes the plants, and the plants get eaten by the turtle, and the raccoons eat the turtles. The turtles get eaten by the raccoons. So if something is missing, then what could happen? The turtles don't get to eat, the turtles die, and then the raccoons don't get to eat because the turtles are dead. So the food chain is very important in our different to eat. Forest food chains. A wooded area has many food chains. Some wooded areas have oak trees. An oak tree uses the sun's energy to make food. The tree makes nuts called acorns. A squirrel eats the acorns. A fox eats the squirrel. So here we have the sun. Here we have acorns. Here we have squirrels. And here we have foxes. You can make the arrows to show how energy passes through this food chain. Where does the energy start? And then it goes to what? And then it goes to what? And then it goes to what? If you want to, you can look on this side. It's almost the same. Okay, there's your science reading, and we'll do our science later. Underline important parts here, okay? All right.